right, AMG episode number 76. We are back once again. I'm here with Bonus Blair, causing all kinds of trouble, just havoc and chaos before we even started recording. Blair, how are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. I'm thankful that you didn't lie to the people because I think okay is probably more appropriate. Steve knows this. Like we have questions. Collector the scalps. Collector Steve, how are you?
I'm doing better than Blair. I just hope he can make it through this episode. Gotta be an emotional time for him.
Yes. So we've got a couple of different things. So no specific product dropping this week. Although we've got a couple of small things we'll throw in there. I grabbed one thing that's right up Steve alley that we can talk about briefly as well. I will say, so we'll make sure we touch on a couple of things. So quick reminders just off the top. One of them is going to be that this week is going to be a little bit different. We got Good Friday on Friday, so be aware that the mall is going to be closed. As a result, the store is going to be closed. So, plan yourself accordingly. However, on the Saturday, the card show is still on. It will still be on at the regular hours and everything. I think, can you guys remind me what the hours are for the Saturday card show?
Yeah, it's 9 to 2. I know it can run over a little bit to 3, but usually by 2 o'clock it's winding down. And I believe setup for vendors starts anytime after 7.
Perfect. So just be aware, all the tables got booked up, so it should be a good turnout. If you folks do decide to drop in and drop by, there's a good chance that you're going to get a chance to see some good stuff. So, and we'll report back on it in the subsequent episode. I'll remind now as well, both Steve and Blair will not be at the expo, but next week we will still talk about the expo because there are going to be some plans. So his table's going to be configured a little different than normal. But for those of you who do pop in and you are of the wax persuasion, again, we'll talk about it some more next week. But those of you of the wax persuasion may be pleased that there was maybe some interesting things for you. Again, little tease. We'll talk about it more next week. Other quick thing that I want to mention as well is that I want to thank everybody who has subscribed recently. We have now comfortably cleared 400 subscribers. So excellent. That was one of the goals we had on there. So if you haven't already, please do it for Blair, do it for Steve. And also maybe I'll talk Sherry into maybe we'll do some kind of giveaway or something when we get to 500. But I want to encourage you. I want to motivate you. But we still got some work to do to get there. So you're going to have to put in the work in order to get there. But if we do, maybe we'll have a little conversation with Miss Sherry and see if she's feeling generous. And maybe we'll do something related to that. So just throwing it out there. Again, no promises. But we got to get to 500 before we can even have that discussion. So we got to get closer to it. So something to think about.
I like it. Good old-fashioned bribery.
Hey, Blair, I am not above bribery.
I like
this is what I do. Again, I might have gotten to Canada, Blair, but listen. I'm Panamanian / Colombian. Corruption is my birthright. We are not above bribery around here. Not above it. As a matter of fact, it's in my blood. That's what I do. So Just throwing it out there. Something to think about. All right. A couple of things that are coming in. Most of this is restocks and such. I'll quickly go through the list, but nothing particularly notable. But again, if you got questions about availability and pricing, reach out to the store. Always, that's the best way. And that way you'll get it. And I'll leave the little scrolling ticker, which includes some of the information at the bottom there. That's a couple of ways you can access. It's also in the description. If you go in the description, you can access directly. You can go to the website and reach out directly. If you got a normal question, we'll usually answer it in the following episode. I've got a couple of comments from the last episode. I'll touch on them briefly in a moment, but those are things that you want to bear in mind. So quickly, I'll go through the list. It's just a handful of items. 2024 Panini Select Baseball. Again, quantities and pricing availability. Ask about it directly to the store. 2024 Panini Immaculate Basketball. Now, that is a pricey product. So just bear that in mind. However, if you have questions and you do want to know about it, and you're feeling very spicy, again, ask for quantities and availability in the store and pricing. 2024 Topps Heritage High Number Baseball Value Box. So a little bit more reasonable kind of pricing product, especially compared to Immaculate. We've got two different levels on that. 2024 Topps 3 Basketball. So again, a basketball product if you're interested. And 2025 Upper Deck Hockey Series 2 tins. So just another form factor, but if you're interested in that, I believe that's a restock for that one. So that is an available one.
Surprisingly, the tins, they're just arriving to us now. So there's a couple delays for whatever.
First go around? Okay.
Yeah, I think originally it was like April 4th, and it got put off twice. So several phone calls have come in looking for them. So providing our courier shows up on Wednesday, they'll be on the shelves late Wednesday afternoon into Thursday.
Yeah, and with the other one, it's always nice to get more baseball, but it looks like we have more than 2 boxes or so of that, so that's cool. We'll have some more baseball, the Topps Heritage. So some people have been asking for that. I took a couple phone calls, so we will get it, and we'll have some boxes. So
yeah, and actually on those, just looking at the invoice, it is tariff adjusted. So this is one of our newer. Will be a smidgen more expensive than we would like, but it's still like on the cheaper end. But it might cost $6 to $8 more than normally because of the tariffs, which is a pleasant way to start your day.
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have my not tariff adjusted coffee to deal with this issue.
For now.
For now. So quickly on that other note, as I mentioned earlier, if you do have a comment on the previous episode, we do get to it in the following. So we did have a handful of comments the last episode. Thank you all for participating in that. Canadian Cards here said, great show. Awesome getting to learn about the product. Keep up the hard work. Cheers. So thank you for that. Appreciate the kind words. Second one is a bit of a commentary on the pricing. I'll touch on it briefly since it's a valid point. I kind of follow with it. So Joe Leeton here, I believe that's correct. If I got it wrong, my apologies. 120, 140. I think he's just referring to some price ranging on it, referring to SPX. No guaranteed auto per box, no UD black. I think 24, 25 SPX falls short, which it's your opinion, fair enough. On the plus side, the cars look nice, just not enough value in my humble opinion, which is fine. Realistically, like everybody's entitled to their opinion on it. I think the no UD black, I don't mind that part of it. The no upper deck guaranteed auto per box. One thing I'll throw in there, and this isn't dissuading you from your opinion because you're entitled to it. So that's why I read it. I'm happy to get the feedback. But I'll say this: the whole guaranteed auto thing, I get it. And again, as a collector, I understand it. Yep. But just understanding where upper deck is at this point, every time there's a guaranteed auto, just add another $20 or $30 to the box, like almost automatically. Just throwing that out there. And the question is that autograph going to give you enough value to offset the increase in the price of the box? Because they're not going to give you the same box at the same price and then throw in the guaranteed auto, because they're paying those people for the auto and they're going to pass that along to you. So if you're paying 20 or 30 extra dollars, again, hypothetically, 20 or 30 extra dollars for the box, same box, everything else, you get the guaranteed auto, and the auto is a $5 or $10 auto. Is that a value add for you?
Exactly. And at the end of the day, opening product, it's a game of chance. So yes. if you didn't get an autograph, that's unfortunate. And like you just touched on, you might get an autograph that's worth $5. Yeah. But if you get the autograph, like a Connor McDavid or something, you love the product. So whenever opening, you got to keep that in the back of your mind, that it is a bit of a game of chance. And you need to know what you're getting into when buying a product. That's why we've touched on before, I always say buy something like whether it's a card, something that will make you happy, because if you buy it, then buy a product and get nothing, you might leave a little salty. So I always suggest buy something to put in your collection. And then if you want to play that game of chance, best of luck to you. And I hope you pull something great, but you have to be prepared for the consequences of opening that particular item.
And I'm back to the auto. Yeah, exactly right, Carlos. Some of these autos, I mean, we see them daily. We price some of them, and it's a job to put $10 on them. But I mean, you could also pull like an insert of the hot rookie, and it might be worth more than that potential autograph that you're going to pull. Sure. So I mean, there are other cards in the products, but I know I was an autograph guy back in the day when I opened up, products. I just like to get autographs, and so I understand that aspect of it too. But I mean, there could potentially be more valuable cards in there that aren't autographed.
For sure, yeah. That's why we try when we do the breakdowns on the sets. We try occasionally to, if you've paid attention over previous episodes, I will try to go out of my way to find maybe some inserts that might be a little under the radar, that are a little tougher, that might provide some value potentially if people catch on to it, especially if it's tougher. But again, just to be clear, I don't have any problem with anything you just said in your comment. You're certainly entitled to your opinion. Yeah. And again, I am an autograph guy. To this day, my collection focuses still a lot on autographs. So I will never deny that it is nice to have. It feels good. But I just want to make sure we understand each other when it comes to any of these products, not just SPX. It's a bit of a devil's bargain. Yes, it feels good to have that guarantee of having that autograph, but if it's a guarantee of an autograph that's just kind of, it's not you, God. Maybe that'd be kind of exciting. A little bit of you, God, or Topanga autograph. Now the people are interested, right?
Yep.
But just kind of like, not so much. And the problem is we get a lot of not so much when you get one guaranteed per box. You tend to get a little bit more of the not so much and a little bit less of the you got. So to each their own, but just bear that in mind. Again, nothing wrong with the comment. We appreciate the feedback either way. And for the rest of you, feel free to throw in comments and everything because we're happy to address it and touch on it. So, okay, got all those taken care of from the last episode. So thank you all again for following on that. Okay, so let's actually do it. Blair, this is your moment. I think we're going to have a little Alex Faulkner, like mini tribute. I was going to get the Sarah McLachlan song, but we would get sued. So imagine I will remember you playing in the background as Blair is talking, but I'm afraid I can't actually play it for you. But Blair, it's all you. Take it away.
That would be, I probably would cry. No, I just, I was thinking about it on the way in. Being a collector, and he was one of my PC guys, but the first Newfoundlander that ever made it to the NHL from a small community in central Newfoundland. So Alex Faulkner from Bishop's Falls. So had never met him, but for 25 years or more, I kind of picked away at his stuff if I could find it, a few newspaper things, and then going to the Toronto Expos, got talking to people and actually realized that he did only have one official card from like the official sets. And Carlos is running through there now. But yeah, so anyway, I had never met him, and I got talking to another collector who put me in touch with his son. And so 3 summers ago, I was able to kind of make contact with them. So they were really gracious. They allowed myself and my daughter, who were making the trip home to Newfoundland, to pop in and see them in their house. And I brought some stuff just to show them. It's funny, I do have quite a few of his rookies. We won't go into the number because it's a bit of a hoarding thing, but he did look at me and say, "Where did you get all these?" But I guess 25 years or so of collecting. But yeah, just Carlos is going through a few of the items there. So my daughter was with me. So she was actually sat down and had a bowl of ice cream with Alex and his wife at their kitchen table. So it was kind of a little bit of a surreal moment, but it was really nice to meet him. And he did have quite a good hockey career. A lot of it was American League and Senior League in Newfoundland, but he did play for 4 years in the in the NHL. He got called up with Toronto, but only dressed for 1 game, and then played the other few years with Detroit. But yeah, he had pretty good distinguished hockey career. But yeah, a few of the things there that you just scroll through. The rookie card was one that I actually had him sign that day, and then I just wanted to get it slabbed as a keepsake, and a few other items that I found over the years. But yeah, it was a real pleasure. Sad news that he passed away. He was 88, and I never did make it back, although we were invited to come back. But a little bit of true Newfoundland hospitality we received on that day. So it was a fun day. I'm glad I did it. And yeah, I know a lot of Newfoundlanders will be remembering him. Yeah, as on his passing. So just wanted to add that in. Thanks, guys, for letting me share it.
Yeah, and from a non-Newfoundlander, bit of an enigma was Alex Faulkner. Nothing against his playing career or anything, but at the end of the day, he basically was a common as far as cards go. Absolutely. So 63 Parkers, probably should have been a $15 to $20 card, but because of the passion and love that Newfoundlanders have for him, his card is one of the most valuable in that set. And I mean, if you can get in high grade, it can sell for thousands upon thousands. And I know over the years I've had some high grade examples, and some of the prices they sell for. But again, Blair has contributed to that over the years. He has let's just say he has a few Alex Faulkners, but he's not the only one. So yeah, I understand the love and passion they have for hockey actually in Newfoundland, and obviously Alex Faulkner. So thank you, Blair, for sharing that.
Yeah, that's true though. It is quite a twist on. Steve's exactly right. It's a card that should be $15 or $20, but goes for a lot more. But yeah, it's but it's fun. It's one of those things. You get caught up in moments when you go to card shows, and then it was kind of like it was almost like a chase. How many could I find, or would I see any, or would I find one? And some shows I found one, and some shows I left with 4 or 5, which is fun. And then, collecting friends would go to a show and say, "Hey, there's an Alex Faulkner here. You want me to pick it up for you?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah." And so that's how the legend of my Alex Faulkner collection has grown. But it's fun. It's like anything. You try to find chase, but I've also tried to find other items that I haven't had. One is, just before we go, the elusive. There is an Alex Faulkner chocolate bar. I forget the company now off the top of my head, but anyway, they made a chocolate bar. I don't know if it was just dispersed in Newfoundland. It probably was, but I've only seen 2 wrappers. One I just couldn't purchase, and the other one was when I went to see Alex at his home, and his son took out a little binder and showed me some original photos, like from the day of him with Gordie Howe and him with all the players and stuff. But on the back page, it was in pretty rough shape, so if somebody ate it and it looked like it was pulled from the trash. But yeah, so there's a couple items like that I'd like to find still, but they're just so rare, and yeah. But it's been fun collecting stuff.
There you go. Well, from noted Alex Faulkner, influencer, Bonus Blair. So thank you for that stirring tribute. That was well done by you. Well done. Well done.
Maybe
we had high expectations, Blair. We had high expectations. So,
yeah,
good job. You got out of that one. So we're going to talk about somebody that, it's almost on the level of Alex Faulkner. Almost. Not quite getting to those lofty heights, but I did come across this the other day, and I just thought it'd be kind of fun to bring up briefly. So REA Auctions is actually auctioning off a couple of, a number of different things, but amongst them is one of 3 known PSA 9, 66, 67 Bobby Orr test issues. So very high-end piece. And if as a bonus, you get your Mike Baker authenticated sticker, if that isn't good enough for you. So it's kind of it's an interesting card to look at. Obviously, the Bobby Orr rookie is already a big card, but then you add in the test issue piece to it. Yeah. So this was a pretty nice one, Steve.
It is actually probably the nicest one I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's almost always somewhat off-centered or badly off-centered. So this is very impressive.
So Steve, I've only seen a picture of one other one, but is it the test? You can tell by that white line that's running up here.
Sometimes they have it on there. Sometimes they don't. The telltale for me was always when you flip it over on the back.
Right.
It's the back, like the color tone it's almost whitish.
Whiter? Yeah. Right.
And it jumps out at you immediately.
Yeah. Okay.
But wow, yeah, that's a very nice copy.
Smoking.
Yeah, very, very clean. So you're talking very super high end. Now, a couple of quick observations. One of them is I did kind of get a kick out of it because when I came across this, I also talked about it on my podcast as well. We had a little bit of fun because my buddy Eric is the big hockey guy, and we like tease him about it. And obviously, he's a Boston Bruins fan, so again, we tease him about the Bobby Orr minor league rookie. His real rookie card is when he went to the Chicago Blackhawks and established his Hall of Fame career. Thankfully, he got out of that Boston Bruins thing in the minor leagues, finally escaped to go to the actual NHL. However, a couple of fun things, though. Again, Blair knows this. I enjoy taking a closer look. Everybody's seen this card if you're in Canada and you're a hockey collector, but you got to take a look at the picture in the background. Now, in the set, you got a lot of these. So first of all, one thing, I feel like the guy over here really does look like a dead ringer for Frank Mahovlich. And that's the number doesn't match up. No. But I feel like his head and his profile looks a little bit Frank Mahovlich-ish. Very much I got that kind of sense.
Yeah.
Now, one other thing I was thinking about, I hadn't really paid attention to too much, but I was joking with Eric, and I just thought, you got that image with the crowd in the background, you got the Leafs team there and all that, you got this whole portrait thing going on in the background there. But I always thought it would have been hilarious if whoever commissioned this piece, and this is my hope against hope, Blair. I hope there's a variant out there. I hope one of these versions has Waldo in the background. I want Waldo to be there in the stands somewhere because that would be the ultimate. That'd be the grail of all grails. The ultimate that may rival Cheeto's art. If we can get the Waldo or rookie with Waldo in the background there, he could be watching the hockey game. How do you know he's not watching the hockey game?
true. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's impressive. And actually, a quick story about the test set.
Sure.
Probably 20 years or so ago, my father and I were traveling through the States buying a few collections, and I think we were in Michigan, and we went into this guy's house and we were buying up a few things. And then I looked up on a shelf and I said, what's in that box there? And he just like, oh, that, and he went and grabbed it. And it was a box we hadn't seen before. And when we opened the box inside, we found out right away what it was. It was a box of test set. So it was the first time we had ever seen the test set box, and it was in immaculate condition. But inside were all the cards, and the cards were amazing. And sitting right on top was an off-centered Bobby Orr, but it was in there. And then we just kind of went through, and like these were packed fresh cards, and he had kept, I think, 2 wrappers because he didn't know the wrappers would be worth anything. But, we ended up working out a deal for it. But that was probably one of the most, enjoyable purchases, because whenever, you find something you've never seen before. And I don't know if, there's been one out there since. It might have been a one of, but yeah, it was pretty neat. They were just packed fresh cards, and but yeah, I still remember, and there was a gorgeous Orr, but it was OC, and I can't remember if it was like we ended up grading it. It might have been like a 7 OC or an 8 OC, but so when you see this one with the perfect centering, it's I'm afraid to, and I haven't paid much attention to the value of this card, but
No.
I'm sure a couple serious collectors will go after it with intensity.
This will be one to watch. Yeah, for
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
So we can talk about it more a little bit next week because we're getting a little closer to the end of it. So I'll let you know there's over 12 days left, so 12 and a half days as the time of this recording.
Yeah.
And right now it's sitting at 165,000 is the current bid. Started at 100,000. So right now it's 165. So Blair, there's still time. If think about it. For 1/10 the value of your Alex Faulkner collection, you could potentially have this test issue. It's very exciting.
I might actually be able to do it. I'd have to move the entire collection, and I might be able to make this next bid.
There you go. So I thought that would be worthy and worthwhile. I thought that would throw that in there.
That's cool.
Steve, I figured that would be up your alley.
I did not realize that was out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I came across that one. So I will bookmark that one. We'll revisit it next week, and then maybe we'll make some predictions on pricing. We'll see where the pricing is at and see if additional bids have been coming in, and we'll maybe take a shot in the dark. Again, it's no Cheetos art, but pretty impressive nonetheless. Pretty solid. And again, if Waldo's in the background, no cost is too great. Just letting you all know. No cost. So that's a good one there. Quick thing, no Bobby Orr test issues, at least as far as we're aware. But I do want to make note for you about the AMG Collectibles eBay store. Sunday to Sunday auctions. We always kind of make reference to it here and there as we go along, but I'll quickly remind you. Links in the description there, as always. Always worthwhile checking out because there are new auctions every week, so some things are on there. Obviously, there are buy it nows as well, but you do have regular auctions available. So you can see right here, just scanning through, exquisite collection, shield you've got on there. You've got a Jaden Daniels downtown. You've got a Kaboom card. The Donruss Preferred. We talk about the precious metals. We've got that on there. And Alex Ovechkin Prism. Very timely, all things considered. But it's not just hockey. You got baseball, you got basketball, you got football, you got non-sport. So it's a full gamut of stuff. You can see a hockey pack on there, a Luke Robitaille rookie card. So just scrolling through, you can see all kinds of items there, old and new. The Funko Pops from the Trailer Park Boys. Lots of stuff. So either way, it's worthwhile checking out. And again, there are auctions Sunday to Sunday. So just something we wanted to remind you about. Something worth checking out that might be of interest to you.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what you might find over there. Okay. So I think we've got time here to showcase a couple of cards that came in the store. So I think we're right on time for that.
Yeah.
So let's do that. We'll start off with a couple different items here. We'll kind of go back and forth between old and new. We're going to start off here with a little bit of modern, talking about the Jambalaya Achievement. So not just Jambalaya Achievement. So 2021 Metal Universe. So here we've got a Connor McDavid on that. So very nice. Scrolling through. Here is, speaking of UD Black, since we mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
So this is the Pride of a Nation UD Black and a PSA 8 with Mark Messier here. These are manufactured patches with the whole flag thing. Really, it's about the aesthetic with these. I've got a bunch of these Pride of the Nations in my Medano collection. Some of them are really nice cards, but it really is about the aesthetic with these. I do love me some paint pen, though, on the dark background, because I do think those pop very nicely. So this one's a decent copy. Overall, pretty nice autograph for him.
Well,
see, people are ringing off the hook just out of excitement for this. This is how good it is.
All the phones are going off. I could have sworn I'm on mute, but I don't know how to work this stuff.
I didn't turn mine on mute either.
I was going to say, Blair. See what happens? All the people get excited.
Answer it.
Man.
Sorry.
So anyway, so this one's the out of 10. So for the Mark Messier. Yeah.
Numbered out of 10.
This one's the out of 10.
It is, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. A little tough to see, but it's right there.
Yep. I see.
Yeah, so kind of a fun one. That's a good one. Again, any of the UD Black, if you get the dark background with the paint pen on there, a lot of those can look pretty good. So it does pop nicely. If you're going to get an autograph, I like the aesthetic. Now, here's a fun one. We got a trio of T206s. Piedmont cigarettes all 3 times. You've got yourself a Rube Marquard, a Bobby Wallace, and Larry Doyle. So all SGC. You got old and new labels on these. So some pretty interesting ones. So this is a little bit random, but Steve, did these just come across recently, or what happened with these?
Yeah, actually, I took these in. A gentleman traded it towards a Gretzky rookie. So, and usually it has to be something that, impresses me to trade. Not that Gretzky's super vintage, but I usually won't trade newer cards for older cards. So when these came in, and retail wise, they're like $200 to $300 cards each. Yeah. So, and again, we've been taking in a lot of vintage lately, which, and it sells really well in the store. So we were able to make a trade along with a little bit of cash towards getting a nice Gretzky rookie.
Nice. I like it. So again, any of these items you see, if you're curious, if we want to know if they are available or anything related to that, always make sure to reach out directly to the store. That way you get a more direct answer, and that'll be a better way of knowing what's still available, if anything. Now here's kind of an interesting little twist on this one. So we got a Steph Curry and Ty Lawson dual autograph here from Press Pass. So this is 2009 Press Pass Fusion. Since 2009, I'm assuming this is Steph Curry rookie year on this one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you got Renewed Rivals as a subset on this one. On-card auto, so that's nice. Here's a Jordan Generations Topps card. Looks like it's got a little bit of, looks like it's a chromium one. So that's very nice, especially from the 90s. I think it's the late 90s one, if memory serves me. Not 100%.
Yeah, and we don't see them too often. So yeah, I think Blair actually made this deal. He picked up a couple of the, the funky late 90s, insert cards. So I think there's a couple on here that, they definitely did it right back then with their inserts.
Yeah. That's a great looking card.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So you got Noise Boys as well here, Tim Duncan. So that's a solid one. Noise Boys are very popular as kind of a subset there, especially in basketball. So kind of a good pickup there. Again, you never know what's gonna come in. So it's not always all hockey. You've got some other stuff. A couple of basketball cards here back to back. And then we got some jerseys and some equipment here. So we got a Ronaldo jersey on this one. So what's I'll go through them, Steve, but was this part of a collection that came in? Somebody brought it in? What happened with these?
It was stuff I guess we had for a while, or at least had ownership of it. But yesterday it was brought to my attention that we had it, and good time to bring it out with the World Cup just around the corner. And some of these guys are world-class players, many retired. I loved Cantona back in the day. Used to wear his collar up and had a bit of an attitude. But yeah, everyone recognizes Messi. So we don't get a lot of soccer. We do have a soccer community here that comes in, and we have to break their hearts all the time saying we, unfortunately don't have anything. So in case they're looking, for something soccer related, what a selection of autographed jerseys. Yeah. And I believe they're either Beckett authenticated, or I think it's Icon. And Icon, I think, is who Messi signs with, and a few other guys. So definitely, and I may frame them at some point, but for now, obviously, they're a little bit cheaper just to buy the jersey. So, and then, the buyer can do what they want with them and frame them themselves. So definitely come check those out, because it's not something we would, ordinarily have.
No.
And Shaq has big feet.
I forgot how big.
Yeah.
It's massive. You just have to come in to see that
Yeah.
alone. Yeah. I saw that when I was leaving.
Well, Blair, if worse comes to worse, if the flooding ever comes by, you can probably get in it and row yourself to safety.
Exactly. If we ever flood again, that's what I do. I could row out in the shack shoe.
Just throw it out there, So kind of a nice mix of things. Wanted to make sure we shared some of that with you. A little bit of old, a little bit of new, some basketball, some hockey, a little bit of a mix, and then some memorabilia as well. So kind of a good mix of stuff.
Love
So I
it.
think we touched on those main things. And right on time. Nailed it.
Yep.
See,
Nailed
Steve, you got to have the faith. We got to have the
Nailed
faith.
it.
We manage every single time. Even without brand new product to cover, we still managed to go cover the full gamut of everything.
Actually, here's a neat little item. I like learning things. It's a
Sure.
small item, but let's see if I can pull a Blair. So it's a
much better.
1962 Salata coins, Mike Henry. I purchased this yesterday, and it was brought to my attention by the guy I bought it from. That Carlos, do you know who Mike Henry was by chance? I didn't.
The name sounds familiar, but honestly, I don't remember.
No.
Blair, I don't think. Well, anyway, it turns out he was he played Tarzan in the so in the what Tarzan 1966 or something like that. Whenever
Really?
Tarzan came out, he played Tarzan. So a lot of those, it turns out that a lot of them were football players. The 60s and 70s guys, they took their stab into sorry out there in TV land, but anyway, yeah.
Well, if you're in the 60s and you're a football player, you basically needed a day job.
Yep.
So you're already a big guy and you're in shape, and there's an opportunity to do something like that. Then that's basically a good way to supplement your income. They're like, yeah, absolutely, we'll do a TV show, sure.
Yeah. So that's what I like about the hobby is just learning things that you didn't know. So, and it's a neat looking item, and I look forward to people are going to see this, and I look forward to sharing that with them. So it was kind of cool and not super expensive. It might be $50, $60, but someone will gobble that up for that reason. It's always a good conversation piece.
Nice.
All
right. Well played.
Not know that.
Well played. A fun little bonus there at the tail end. So you got a little bit of everything this episode, folks. You got a chance to see some cards. Steve had there a little extra item with a little pop culture reference in there. We did get a little You God reference in there as well. Always make sure we cover that.
Heard
and
the phone ring a couple times.
Yeah, and stirring tribute to Alex Faulkner from Bonus Blair.
Tried to do my best.
Tears brought all glass eyes everywhere. Single tear. But a well done tribute by you, Blair. So that'll be it for this episode. Thank you all for checking this one out. We appreciate it. Again, if you got comments or thoughts in it, feel free to throw it in there. And we usually check it out on the following episode. If it is more pressing, reach out directly to the store. If you got questions about anything that we talked about, products or anything, or you want pricing or general inquiries, you can do that. Also, if you need to submit PSA stuff, the submission center is there. So again, if you got questions about it, reach directly out. And that's the best way. Card show happening on the Saturday. We gave you that information. We'll give you reminders every month. This month, it'll be a little bit earlier because next week will be the Toronto Expo. And we'll talk about that more next week, where we'll give you a little more details about what's coming up. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because there may be an incentive for you. Again, I'm not promising it, but it's going to be much easier to have that conversation and have that discussion if we're a little bit closer. So we're shooting for the next milestone. Let's see if we can get there. So for Bonus Blair, Alex Faulkner, historian and influencer, and for Steve, collector of the scalps, collector of the people, we thank you for checking this one out, and we will catch you in the next one.